How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How was your Simchas Torah?
Could have been better.
Yeah,
I actually walked with him and brother's brother who came for Talucha here, right?
yeah, really.
I walked with him on Aishan Avenue till tell you. He continued and I went up to have 11.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
18th Avenue?
He's on Ditmas and East.
His son, Portugal, came for a simple space Shueva
Who
and
came?
yes, he's kind.
Oh, very nice. Beautiful.
One has been digging up all these.
That's the one that's going to be the best thing. Okay.
Yeah.
The one digging up is like one he's digging up the letters of the rabbi. Tafshin, Allah.
So what is he working for? Like the Rebbe's letters?
Yes.
Rebbe responsive? How old is he?
20.
Huh? Geshidduch.
Yeah.
Sensor or water? What do you got?
You miss like a restaurant over here. How are you?
Don't have any
Salsa, thank you.
questions. I don't think we do.
Maybe you can go to Miloyim. Not at this.
I finished with him, but I can do other things. They call me, they make me do it.
Look, there's the biggest football speech in London.
Yeah.
Man.
What page?
Okay.
Aaron,
Aleph.
can you pass me a Shulchan Aruch?
Simin Kuf Yud Dalet. The page is
Thank
Shin Chaf Zayin. Shin Chaf Zayin. Rabbi Elazar had the night that seems Sefer Torah for his brother-in-law, Hirsch, that was nifter a few years ago.
Wow.
His wife's brother,
Yes.
Schneier Hirsch, was nifter a few years ago.
The one with the furniture?
Yeah. So they made
wow.
a family, it was Machnas Torah now.
It's only a few years?
I think it's 2 years maybe.
Two.
No?
It makes sense.
Either two or three.
3 years?
I can't believe it. So tonight they make an Sefer
It's 3 years already.
Wow.
I took the Sefer Torah for a field check.
Wait. With our Torah?
No, the one I showed you, the two places he fixed it.
Okay. Rabbi say Simin Kuf Yudalit Din Haskaras HaRuach HaGeshem V'Tal. The dinim of mentioning and davening Ruach, Geshem, and Tal. There are three things that we mentioned: Ruach, Geshem, and Tal. Mashiv Ruach, Moed HaGeshem, Moed HaTal. So these are the dinim. Bracha Shniya, the second bracha in Shmon Esrei, Eina Pesach as a baruch, does not start with its own baruch. Like Ata Gibor doesn't start with its own baruch. Why? Pnei shehi smucha l'chaverta, because it is next to the first bracha, which does open with a baruch. So since it's always next to that bracha, the baruch that is before it covers it. The baruch Ata Hashem in the very beginning of Shemona Esrei covers the next bracha, and it covers all the brachas. Ata Kadesh, Ata Chaynen, it's all without any baruch Ata Hashem. That's what he says. V'chein kol brachas ha'acheres. All the other brachas of Shemona Esrei. Hein smuchais zu lezu. V'chein hin chois is a baruch. V'einen pois is a baruch. Because the klal is you always have to have a baruch in the beginning, baruch in the ending. But here with the bracha smucha l'chaverta, it doesn't. Why by Havdalah is it not that way? By Havdalah, we start at Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam, Mavdim Mikodesh L'Chayil. It's Pesach B'Baruch and it's Paisim B'Baruch. Baruch Hashem Elokeinu L'Chayil. Why is it Pesach B'Baruch if it's Smucha L'Chaverta to Baruch Ben Me'Eish, Ben Samim? The answer is because those brachas, Me'Eish, you don't have to only say on the kais. If you don't have the Eish, say it later. Say it at a different time. You don't have a kais, you could say a Me'Eish like we do Tisha B'Av, right? And we say in the bracha Me'Eish without when it falls out on Shabbos or on Sunday. So because it's not always there, So not those two brachas are not intrinsically smucha lechaverta. So the baruch of Meirei Eish will not help as being a psicha for the hamavdil, and the hamavdil has to have its own bracha, psicha, its own psicha.
How about the tachona? It's in Shabbat.
At the Chayin, he says over here that all the brachas of Shemon Esrei all rely on the first baruch of Shemon Esrei because all brachas smuches lechaverta, they're all right next to each other.
Yeah, but you say all the smuchot every day, a few times a day, but at Tachonin it's once every Motzei Shabbat. It's like separate.
Oh, at the Chelantano, you're saying.
Yeah, Tachontano. Sorry.
So at the Chelantano, I got confused.
I'm
At the
sorry.
Chelantano, now I know what you mean. It's a good question. At the Chelantano is not a bracha for itself. It doesn't have a chasima.
There's no beginning.
no bracha, no psicha. It's not a bracha for itself. It's like Yalabiyave, or it's not something that has its own. Right. Yeah. It's more of a chiyuv than those, but it still doesn't have its own.
With the Rabbanan, all these, right?
Yeah. HaGeshem, we start to mention Geshem in the second bracha Shon Esrei when the Tfilas Musif Shel Shmini Atzeres. Ve'im Paiskim, we don't stop at Tfilas Musif Shel Yom Tov Pesach until the first day of Pesach, the whole winter. The whole winter. Now, why do we say this Haskara? Why are we mentioning Mashiv HaGeshem? Because remember, winter time is the rain season. In the Chazal, winter is called Yemot HaGeshamim.
Mm-hmm.
Summer is called Yemot HaChama, it's the time of the sun. And winter is called Yemot HaGeshamim, time of the rain. It's the rain season. So it says that we mentioned we want rain during the rain season. That's necessary. Rain is necessary. Saskara zuhi vitzui she'ela. Sheterem she'yishu ha'kshamim beinosam she'giya zman ha'she'ela meiritzim lefana ba'askaras gureisa shemei gshav. We know that close on to the starting of the rain season, we're going to actually say the saying Tal Umatar. We're going to ask the same matar. Hashem, please give us matar in the bracha Baruch Aleinu. Now, before we ask for something, it's appropriate to first praise Hashem for His abilities in rain. As we're getting ready to ask, we say, we want something from someone. Make sure to praise them for that thing that they have. So we start to be maskir the she'ela, the rain now, and then later on in December 4th or 5th every year we start the same Tal Umatar. Why do we say it in the bracha Mechayim Mesim? Because Kshamim are compared to Tchias HaMesim. Shekshem Tchias HaMesim Chayim Lo'ilam, Kach HaKshamim Chayim. Just like the Mesim, after they come back alive, they live up forever. So gesund. So too, rain is Chayim Lo'ilam. Rain is always around. Rain doesn't go away.
I don't know, give life to the world.
Seems that it actually means it's always around.
Oh.
Part of nature. Now, why do we mention on Shmini Atzeres? Why is Shmini Atzeres the time we should start? So we know, really, what is Chag HaSukkos? One of the things behind Chag HaSukkos is that we are asking Hashem. We are judged. It says, the Mishnah says that we are judged for water on Sukkos.
Sorry.
Chag HaSukkos. We're judged for water. So really, we should start on the first day of Sukkos, mentioning, hey, Sukkos. I'll say that. Avir Tzach.
You don't.
I'm also getting sick.
I'm not sick.
So no, I hope I'm not getting you sick.
I'm not sick.
Okay.
Just
Mm.
when I get sick, I have attack.
I mean, I'm giving by the bima, the shit.
Mm.
I don't want to get sick.
Yeah.
هو من الدين
وهاي من הדין להסקי ולרצי סופונה מיין תדיש שחג שבחג נידוינים על המים. שביש הגשם מסום לכלול בחג הסוכיס. שאפשר לישה בסוכי בשעס הגשם. אין מסכין הגשם עד עבור זין ימי ישיבה בסוכה. We don't mention, because it's a simin klala b'chag to have rain. So therefore, we don't mention Geshem until the 7 days the sukkahs go by. So we wait for Shmini Atzeres. Now Shmini Atzeres, good. Wait for Shmini Atzeres. The night of Shmini Atzeres, you start mentioning it. Why wait for Musaf? Not everyone is there at night. Much more people in the shul by day.
Mm-hmm.
Nimsa zeh maskir v'zeh ine maskir. Some people will be home and they won't be mentioning it because they didn't hear the Gabai's announcement. Some people will be in the shul, they will start. But yeah, also agudus. We don't want, it should be different groups. Klal Yisrael should start at the same time, all together. So, okay, good. So not at night. So in the morning, Shachris. Why do we wait till Musaf? Lama e maskirin be Shachris. She'oser lahaski HaGeshem and she'yachris she'yatzuber ha'shamish b'kol ram moed HaGeshem kreidem atfila. You can't start before the Chazan tells you to. You need to wait for the Gabbai. He has a big koyach. You can't do this on your own. V'shachris yef shalachris b'shitzah listen gulat tefillah. Shachris right before Musaf, you can't make any announcements.
Why?
Not allowed to talk. Gal Yisrael, you have to be Seima Geula Tefillah after Gal Yisrael, direct to Shemon Esrei. So you can't speak. Also, lahaktin tefillas Moshe min Atzeres tefillas Tzibur tefillah Beisei. Haska Geshem yachriza b'Tzibur. So therefore, we push it off to Musaf. Musaf, you could talk before Musaf, so the Gabbai can get up and tell everyone HaRuach HaGeshem. So therefore, the halacha is that the person who's a chayler onus, there's a chiyuv to wait to daven Shemon Esrei with the tzibur. You're not allowed to daven earlier than the shliach tzibur with the minyan, unless you're not well or you're a oinus, some type of oinus situation. Now, over here on Musaf of Shemon Esrei, Shemon Atzeres, no one should daven earlier, because you're not allowed to mention Geshem before the tzibur does. So if you're going to daven earlier, even if you're home, even if you're at home, you're davening privately at home. You can't daven your Musaf before the community is going to be davening Musaf, because you can't mention Geshem in your Shemon Esrei, and you have to mention Geshem in the Musaf Shemon Atzeres.
Yeah.
So you have to mention it, but you can't mention it until the Shliach Tzibur announced it. You're home. You have to wait till the time when you know that the shul already started Musaf, that they already announced it in the shul. You know that in shul, in Beis Menachem Mendel, this and this type of hour, this time they already announced it, they already started Shemon, then you can start. If someone knows that the tzibur announced it, even though he didn't hear, you don't have to personally hear. You could still start being maskir. Someone came to shul and the community started to daven. He should daven and be maskir. But since you don't have to physically hear it, as long as you know that it did happen, that the Chazan, the Gabbai announced it, you don't have to physically hear it. So therefore, even if you came to shul and you missed tefillas, you missed that announcement by the Gabbai. You walk in, they're all already, you were after Yisker, you were standing outside, you didn't realize everyone's inside already. The Gabbai announced it, you walk in, they're already in the middle of Shemona Esrei, you missed the announcement. You still daven and you say it. What happens if you're living in a city? There's no minyan. You're shliach somewhere and there's no minyan. You're waiting, there's no minyan. So what do? You start to daven your Musaf Shemona Esrei after the time that the Kehilas and the nearby communities when they daven. Cities in that time zone when they daven Musaf. Now, weiter, Siv Beis, page Shin Chav Ches. Geen Ingen Hafsaka. This is all about when we start. We start Musaf Shmini Atzeres. We had rain even before we said the Tal. We already had rain. We already had rain, right? We had a lot of rain that day. And Shmini Atzeres. Shmini Atzeres, we didn't have the meal. The meal we stood standing up.
No, I eat in the rain.
You were able to sit in the meal?
It was raining like crazy. So
it was raining. It was raining.
Plastic.
No, everyone sat there?
No, only me and myself. Everybody else was inside.
No, we hit the
It's not sour.
The opposite. If a bit
What?
inside the house,
We
it'd be
were
inside.
having brother's daughter stayed with us.
In the sukkah?
You're special.
His daughters are machbatit in the sukkah?
Yes.
We daughters, that's it, that was fun.
It was fun.
The rabbit said was insane.
By the way, I'm one of these people who gets a thrill by eating in the sukkah in the rain. I remember Rabbi Morozow invited Jennifer and I over for Shmini Atzeret, and the men sat in the sukkah. He sings mirot. We danced. We had good food. He said Devar Torah. It was the best sukkah's meal to sit in the rain in the sukkah. There's something about it I can't explain. It's a very special
Only in
experience.
Chabad.
It's a very no.
You know what I did?
What?
Told me they buy like shampoo. I didn't shower this morning. Kidding, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So
Shem Israel.
the chidush is that Chabad says Leishe Basukkah in the rains. Say the bracha.
Is it Leshe Basuka im HaGeshem or just Leshe?
Shechianu Leishav, like no matter rain or no rain, you said it.
Yeah,
Now,
not to me, it's there.
No, it's when I said before, don't have a chiyuv. It's a minimum. And we do, even if it rains.
now, v'chein le'ingen hafsukkah. When do we stop saying Geshem? Ein paiskim al haske at shemachrizim beis hakneses
All the time.
moidatol koidim tfilas musaf yoyin tevrishin shel Pesach. We don't stop saying Mashiv HaGeshem until the shul announces Meir Hatol before Musaf. The Koimish Shenegin Meir Hatol, the Makim in HaGeshem is a Chama. You have to remember like this: the minig Ashkenaz is that they do not say Meir Hatol. You look in the Siddur Ashkenaz, Siddurim Ashkenaz, the Svardim, what do they do?
We said more than that.
Only Ashkenazim.
Why?
Sidduri Ashkenaz of article, they don't say any Meir. There's no Meir Hatol.
Why? What's the reason?
Because really, Meir Hatol is not a chiyuv to say. It's only the Geshem that we're trying to meratza Kadosh Baruch
That is
Hu
only wrong.
for the rain. So really, there's no chiyuv to say. This is a minig. So some people have the minig to say Meir Hatol whenever we don't say Meir HaGeshem, which is most of Klal Yisrael. But the minig Ashkenazim, those who follow minig Ashkenaz, they don't say Meir Hatol. They don't say anything.
Right.
So he says here that in those Mekaimis that the minig is that they say Meir Hatol, like we do. Then you don't stop mentioning Meir HaGeshem until the Gabbai announces Meir Hatol, and he bangs on the beam as a Meir Hatol. Then you stop. The Mekaimis Shenoigin like Meir Hatol, Makom Meir HaGeshem is a Chama. Shechraz is Tal Simin Hulahem. Afsakas Haskaras HaGeshem. The Koyim Achrazazu Ein Atzim Afsikim Lahas HaGeshem Leishi Yadavar Order B'Neim. So the mask is in a mask. Yagudus Agudus. Until you hear this announcement, the Tzibur does not stop saying Geshem, because like we spoke earlier, you don't have a situation. We have to wait until the Gabbai announces it. If you're not going to wait, then everyone's going to be doing different things. שמספלו ביני לבין עצמי, אשר להסכתה למקום הגשם. What is he saying here? Mm-hmm.
I guess HaRuach is going to Ashkenaz.
What?
No.
No?
Give me a second. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He does say something interesting over here, that this seems to be different than on the Psicha. In the Psicha, a Yachid is not allowed to say Moed HaGeshem until the Shliach Tzibur says.
On Shachris.
Right, he's not allowed. Over here he says when it comes to Hafsaka, a Yachid shemispal b'nei l'natzei, Rashoy lahaska tal makom HaGeshem, it seems, even before
The
announcement. You know, if you're davening privately, saying it's not agudus.
No, but we say also about the beginning. If the Kabe already announced it, he is allowed to say by Shachris already, Mashiv in the beginning.
We did mention Shachris. We didn't say anything about Shachris.
What's the whole thing? Saying we saying it by Musa. And you can't say it before the announcement. Shachris, you can't say it because you're not allowed to have a circuit. So when you do it, but Musaf, you're allowed to have so. But somebody came to shul and they already announced it, but he didn't have Shachris, then he allowed to be Yochid, he allowed to say it.
Yeah.
So he said the same thing by the circuit.
Sounds up at 7, like 11, 12 o'clock. They already did Musa.
Right.
You didn't take shot.
Here also, in this shul also, many people came for Shachris and we already double Musa. So they're allowed to say Mashiv the HaGeshem.
We come after start Musa before they come to Shul.
Yeah.
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 Maybe they came for Mincha already.
Came for the Kiddush.
Oh, Kiddush.
Mhm.
Okay.
Whatever, but the point is something with the B'Avtchola, something about the Avsaka.
I don't know. Okay, wait, I don't know. I think maybe I got stuck by this in previous years. I'm not sure because it seems that the psita that no one can do things by themselves. Like, what's the reason why by nighttime? Really, Hillel Shmini Atzeres should already start saying by that HaRuach.
Not everybody in shul, so you don't want to do agudis.
The maskir ain't a maskir, but it means because there are people privately at home. So it seems that it's a problem that a person is a spal ben banatzmai, and he's going to be saying he's not going to be saying HaGeshem. But here he's saying that a yachid shemispal ben banatzmai rashoy lahaskatal. Unless we're going to taina that not everyone comes to shul, but they would make minyanim by their homes, like nearby in the block. Like maybe it means like that. So that's why it's agudus. By the Chanami, if it would be a yachid, it wouldn't be an issue. I don't know, and I'm not sure. He doesn't discuss the scenario clearly by the psifta, only by the hafsaka. Okay, we have a problem now, Minik Ashkenaz. We know those that say, all of us here, we all say Meir Hatol. So when the Gabbai bangs on the bima and says Meir Hatol, before Musaf on the first day Pesach, we know now Shmanesed to say Meir Hatol. However, Minig Ashkenaz, they don't say Meir Hatol. They don't say Meir Hatol. They don't say anything during the summertime.
You don't announce?
So,
Pesach?
not the announcement. They don't say it in Shmanesed. So now the question is, what should they do?
When they stop saying Mashiv,
What should they do?
they say Mashiv HaMorid HaGeshem. That's it. What you do now?
So what says is that they wait during the Shemona Esrei of
Barchenu.
the Shemona Esrei. No, it's Yom Tov. During the Yom Tov Shemona Esrei, during the Lachash they do say Meir HaGeshem. They still say it. When it comes to the Shliach Tzibur's Tfilas HaShliach Tzibur, Koyram, everyone here is a Shliach Tzibur is not saying Meir HaGeshem anymore. Now they know, and by Mincha, they all don't say it. That's what he says here. The middle of Beis. It's interesting how much goes into the process. When Medinas Elu, that the minig is not to mention Tal during the summer instead of Geshem. The Ein Achrazas Tal simin klal of Sukkos Geshem. Being Machriz Tal is not a siman at all that you have to stop being Masker Geshem. Noyagin shel hafsik malahasker Geshem at Tfilas HaMincha sheshamu kfar meshitzibur shepasak betfilas Musaf. The minig is not to stop mentioning Geshem until Mincha Shmini Atzeres. Because why? Because now they heard the Shliach Tzibur by Musaf not mentioning Geshem. Now they know by Mincha. Al Tfilas Musaf kol hakol v'gam hashitzim maskinin haGeshem betfilas lachash. The Shaliyah davar me'ura ben Tzibur she'ef shalachachas k'en tfilas she'ef sikim lahas haGeshem. Pashta Shaila. Why did the Gabbai just get up and say no more? Don't say any more Geshem. Pashit. Why do they have to do the whole thing? Wait until they hear that the Chazaras Hashatz, he did not mention Geshem. Let the Gabbai get up and say, stop mentioning Geshem. Say, Rebbe, that's a problem. He brings down from earlier Paskim that you cannot make such an announcement because it's nearly like you're telling the Eibishter, like, we don't want Geshem. Like it says, you don't daven when there's too much rain. Because it looks like as if, you don't want rain. Now, why doesn't the Shliach Tzibur stop already by Shachris? We have a problem because by Ashkenaz, by Svardim and by
we announce.
Chassidim, we announce Meir Hatol, so we have to wait for Musaf when you can interrupt. There's no Ulul Tefillah. Shachris, you can't make the announcement. But by the Ashkenazim, who they don't rely on an announcement, because you can't say an announcement to stop Geshem, they rely on the Chazaras Hashatz, so they don't need to be machris anything. They can't be machris. So that by Shachris, let them all hear by Shachris Chazaras Hashatz, the Hashatz stop mentioning Geshem. And now when it comes to Mincha, already the Lachash, they all already stopped saying it. Mashin Hashitzim Pesach b'Tfilas HaShacher, Umishum Oisim Shalhayi Beis HaKnesset ba'Arvis. Sheyishma Hashitzim and Masker Shacher Yizbro Shemafsikin Lahasker b'Tfilas HaArvis. Shem hecha alayla b'chol makim. L'shana haba leiski b'avos it's a masker than a masker. Farchash explains that if they will do this system, those are noig minig Ashkenaz, and they will rely on, they will stop mentioning Geshem during the Tefillah Shemona Esrei of Chazaras Hashatz of Shachris. Someone who will come to shul and wasn't there by Ma'ariv will say, "Oh, Mistama, they stopped already by Ma'ariv because I see they're not saying anymore, and I wasn't in the shul." And in Yiddishkeit and Torah, the night always comes before the day. Hayom Halach Achar Laila, the day goes after the nightfall. V'yadav v'yibayker, our parsha. So, therefore, we don't stop in Shachis, we stop in Musaf. Now, Siv Gimel. Betal uberuches lechivu chacham lahaskir. Mentioning tal and ruach, chachamim, or never mechayiv, we should mention it. The Mashiv HaRuach, Moed Hatal, the saying tal, they're not chiyuvim. Anything with tal ruach is not a chiyuv. Loi ba'askala shebrichas ha-mesim, v'loi b'she'ela shebrichas ha-shamim. B'she'ein in etzar loyim. There is never such a thing as a drought where there's no wind or there's no dew. It's only issue by rain. Haskir, maskir. If you want, you could mention it. And what is taka the minik? That we do mention it by the haskara, but not by the she'ela. Not by Baruch Aleinu. We don't say anything about HaRuach. But we don't mention Ruach in the summer. We don't say Masharuach or Moed Hatol. Why not? You mentioned the winter. So because we don't want Ruach in the summer. We want the Ruach in the winter because it dries off the moisture off the plants, off the ground. For some reason you did not mention it, or you did mention it. The summertime doesn't make a difference. You don't go back. There's no chiyuv of ruach. You said it, you didn't say it, you don't go back. V'hatal udavar mispakish lo'ilam. Tal is always something desirable. Yesh mekaymish negel askim meisachama. Some have the minig, like we said, not in Ashkenaz, but some have the minig to mention it in the summer, like we do. And to ask for it, whether in summer or winter. It's not our minig. We only ask for it in the winter. We're saying tal or matter. We don't ask for it in the summer. So the same bracha. The kalmak of action sheyeh lebracha. Actually, and that's loyal mashi sheyeh lebracha. The problem is lebracha. Even though tal always comes and never stops, why are we asking? Why are we mentioning tal? Saying tal or mutter. Why are we mentioning tal if it's always around? Because sometimes it brings bracha, sometimes it doesn't bring bracha. So it could come down in different ways.
Also, Barachenu, and Barach Alenu, Ashkenazim say Barach Alenu, also Chabad, and inside the remind Mashiv HaRuach or Moed Tal. The Sfaradim, Barach Alenu is for the winter, and Barachenu, the smaller version, is for the summer.
Yeah, they printed side by side in the Siluim.
Yeah, but Barachenu is like half in Barach Alenu.
If you did mention tal in the summer, or you did not mention it during the winter, during the summertime. Or you did not ask for you don't have to go back. Now, what is our minig? We didn't say all these countries, we ask for tal during the winter. The saying tal, mutter, we put it together with mutter, Baruch Aleinu. But not b'meisacham, we don't ask for it in the summer. We just say the same bracha, we don't say the same tal. This is talking about Minig Ashkenaz. The Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch was written according to Minig Ashkenaz. And he writes that the Minig Ashkenaz is not to mention it ever. They don't say Meir Hatolim in Minig Ashkenaz shuls. Sure, in Israel, we hear having your eye or across the street, and having the Ashkenaz across the street,
Yeah.
or down the block. It's
No,
probably
Rabbi Khan, I go every morning.
Khan
to
is
run.
Ashkenaz
Yeah.
and Gizel is Sfard.
No, Ashkenaz also.
And Gizel is Ashkenaz?
Yeah. They're Ashkenaz. Roy Alberstam is Svard. By Frankel is Svard. Rabbi Steinworth is Svard. Varsminer Stiebel is Svard. Those are all Svard.
Wait, that means
anywhere. Notice when you go to Rabbi Khan,
but some of them put tefillin
in
in
the
it.
shul, they do not say Meir Hatol.
I go there every morning.
No Meir Hatol.
I say it for myself.
Now, anyways, you don't say Meir Hatol. You say Mashiv Meir HaGeshem. But during the summer, they don't say Meir Hatol. So, if you did mention, did ask for it, and you did mention it, Shamar was saying Tal, Matar, you don't have to go back. It's not, remember, it's not a chiv at all.
So who put it in the Siddur, Takef? Chom did not saying it. Who put it in the Siddur?
It's a minhag. No, it's a minhag. It's already a minhag, early minhag.
So Eric Israel Ashkenaz.
It's an early minhag, but it's not a chiv. So we're not mashkiach and Tal.
Why is that mentioned twice? Once in words, second and the second time in
Oh, Helena.
HaGeshem. Why is that
Geshem?
mentioned twice? Yeah. You say at the Hebrew, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the HaGeshem, either Mark Tomago and then Baruch Lane also. Why different places?
Good question. So Chazal differentiated between Haskara and Sheila. Before we ask for something, we have to first start appeasing Hashem and mentioning and praising Him for His ability in that field.
Yeah, but that's what the 2 cases in is about.
That's true. That's true. But now we're talking about a specific. That's a general praise. And now there's a specific thing that we start before we actually ask for the rain. We start to mention that Eibishter, you have the koyach that you're moed geshamu. And that we start Shmini Atzeres up until December 4th, December 5th, when we start to ask for rain. So Chazal are mechalach between Haskara and She'ela. Haskara and She'ela.
Why the maskira dafka in the second bracha? 18. Who decided to
Because, like we said before, the Tchias HaMesim and Kshamim are connected to each other. The power of Kshamim and the power of Tchias HaMesim.
That's forever. That's forever.
Yeah. So that's both. That's why they're in the same bracha.
I thought that the remnants with the information was Tal, not Geshem.
Well, Tal also has to have some sort of connection because it's also there. That bracha. But the Shulchan Aruch says that
But again,
they're both Tchias
again, it's a minhag,
HaMesim.
not a chiyuv.
Yeah, it's a Gemara in Yerushalmi. And that Shem Shetchias HaMesim Chayim Lo'olam, Kach HaGeshamim Chayim Lo'olam.
So it's important to say it.
And it also says about Tal. You're correct about Tal, we say the same idea. Also, Tal is Chayim Lo'olam.
Is what?
Chaim Lo'ilam.
Well, wouldn't it be important to say it so we can have Techiyat HaMeitim?
We do it every single day in
Say
davening.
Baruch
But
Hashem, Chaim Hameis.
we're never going to stop at that. But we're saying
Uh,
the Tal we don't always mention.
yeah.
I was in the midbar, right? Every morning they got up.
And Tal is also around in other places.
Some places in the world live in Chile, places in mountains, only on the top. We
Wow.
don't have Geshem, even the mountain on top.
Are we going to have a million parrots?
We're missing two. The house is built in such a way that the tall in the morning, they do go to fives. That's the word. That's it.
Thank you, Rabbi. That was an amazing class.
Thank you for joining. Should only hear Basuras Titus.
Amen.
Oh yeah.
Here, Chias HaMesim of everyone.
Amen.
I want to share good news.
Such Saras.
One of the Yishuvim next to the Gaza, last week, they made a chalota, they keep Shabbos.
Wow.
If somebody from the kibbutz want to go drive the car, park the car outside the kibbutz, go outside and drive the car. The gate of the kibbutz will be closed. This was the full Shabbos they decided.
Which kibbutz?
Wow.